Welcome to the Red Eye. I'm Patrick Hall, prepared to be amazed.
Hey, I'm Brian Okumu. You may have seen me on the Dr. Brown Show, but today I'm joining my colleague Patrick to lead you through today's excellent segments.
For one of our last shows of the season, we have a fresh overview of Ithaca High School for our on-demand reporter, Christian. Next, we have our Cooking for College segment with Wade and Jamison. Up next, we have a segment you put together with Avon on senior plans after high school, advice on going to college.
Next up, we have a Cause for College segment with Michael Gould and you, Patrick. And last but not least, finally, we have a report from Joseph on the Cougar Radio Group.
Let's get started. You know, Brian, when I leave the high school, I'll miss these halls. Lots of good memories.
Fancy you'd say that. My friend, we have a special report from our on-demand reporter, Christian, from the WISE program, who has some beautiful views of Ithaca High School. Let's take a look.
Hello, my name is Jared Powers, and it's my great honor and privilege to serve as principal of Ithaca High School. I've been here for more than a decade now, and every day I'm continuously inspired by the greatness of our students and the talent of our staff. Ithaca High School this year is celebrating its 140th anniversary, and the class of 2014 truly represents everything that is good about Ithaca High School. Whether on the playing fields, in the classroom, or taking part in our many clubs and after-school activities, Ithaca High School's class of 2014 represents the best that Ithaca has to offer.
That was a smooth piece. Say, Patrick, what's your favorite dish?
I have to say Taco Bell breakfast tacos, but enough of that. Next, we have a Cooking for College segment with Wade and Jamison talking about how to cook and the history of pasticcio. I hope they don't burn it.
Agreed. Let's run it back.
When I was a little kid, my grandmother, or should I say my yaya, always used to make me pastizzo, and today, Wade and I will teach you how to make pastizzo for yourself. Pastizzo is also a classic Mediterranean food.
Here is everything you're going to be needing to cook your pasticcio. You got your Romano cheese, or you should use Romano. You have any kind of pasta will work, but ziti is what you should be using. Milk, clove, cinnamon, ground beef, and eggs. A lot of stuff that you should be having around the house. So right now we're browning the meat, and currently the water is also being brought up to a boil. So I think it's ready for pasta.
Now that the water's boiling, I'm going to pour in the pasta and set the timer for when it's going to be done.
So now we're after browning the meat and starting to cook the pasta. We are preheating the oven to 390 degrees.
So as we cook the burger, I'm going to put my half a teaspoon of clove and cinnamon in with the burger. So now that we've browned the ground beef, we took it off the heat in preparation for the final product when we put it in the pan. So I'm going to pour out the 4 cups of milk that we're going to need to warm up for this dish. We'll be adding this milk in with the eggs, so keep everything together. So we're only warming up the milk, we're not bringing it to a boil, we're not getting it super hot, we're just going to warm it up before we add it to the eggs.
So you need a bigger mixing bowl now, and you add your eggs that you beat up earlier. We'll be adding warm milk in slow doses to make sure the eggs don't cook, and then it's all mixed in nicely.
Also salt everything.
We're finished cooking the pasta, so now we're going to straighten it out. When you finish it, you want it to be a little underdone, because you'll be cooking it more later as well. And if you think you've cooked it for too long, you can always run cold water onto it, and that'll stop the cooking process immediately.
So now that we have the pasta, we're going to mix the cheese in with the pasta.
So now everything is prepared and ready to go together and then be put into the oven.
So this would work better in a normal lasagna pan, but we don't have those. So the order that you're going to be putting this in is macaroni, meat, then macaroni. So I'm going to stick my hand in the hot noodles here. It's a horrible idea. Don't do this at home. Wear gloves or cool them down more. Put a nice little bottom layer on. Kind of get it evened out. After you put everything together, you put the egg and milk mixture in, and then you do another coat of cinnamon and clove. So I'm going to put a coating of the cinnamon and clove on top before we put it in the oven. This is also the cheeseless batch. We're going to put these in for 45 minutes, and again on 390 degrees.
So, after 45 minutes, that's how you make pastizzo.
Wow, that looks as good as it sounds. I'm going to try that out in my kitchen ASAP.
I wish they'd save me us a slice of that delicious pastizio for us to have taste test. Anyways, up next we have a senior segment about plans after high school with yours truly and Avon.
Maybe I can get some good tips about what to do this summer. Let's take a look.
When people graduate from high school, they usually think that they will focus on one major for all of college, which isn't true. In today's segment, I'll be talking to a variety of IHS seniors about their plans after high school. I'll also be talking to teachers about what they did after high school as well.
I'm looking forward to meeting new people, having new experiences, and just seeing what's out in the world.
Probably a bit of freedom from, all the constrictions of high school and just more time to hang out outside of class.
Wow. Probably doing my own laundry. I'm really excited for that in the future, I think.
Trying to think of one is pretty hard. One that sticks out is probably my experiences on the basketball team, making varsity. I'd say those, yeah.
Ooh, probably when I went to senior prom with my best friends 2 years ago. They're 2 years older than me, and it was a really, really fun time.
Convincing Parker that after I ate a roll out of his lunchbox, I convinced him that he didn't have a roll to begin with, and he bought it, and that was pretty cool.
I decided I'm going to be going to TC3 next year, and then I'm going to hopefully transfer after that. My decision came down to simply I get to prepare more for when I want to transfer to a four-year school, and I also get a free education there because my parents work there. So that was really my how my decision making went. I am going to be studying public policy.
Well, I'm majoring in musical theater, and I started doing musicals in the 6th grade. And I don't really know exactly why, I want to do it. It's what I love to do, and, I'm happiest when I'm, performing and in rehearsals. And I was going to major in something else, but my mom told me that, if I didn't go after what I really wanted, that I'd look back and really regret it, so.
I'm going to be a government major. Cornell, no big deal, guys.
What made you want to do that major?
Well, I'd like to get into national politics, and so other than political economy, that's the closest to a political science class that I could take, or a major that I could have at Cornell. And so then that looks really good when I apply for law school in 4 years. Yeah. Planning to be really in debt when I finally get a job. That's the end goal, I think.
After high school, I went to college. My senior year of high school was good. I liked it a lot. I did well in my classes. I took mostly AP classes. I didn't do as well in a couple of the ones towards the end of the senior year, but overall pretty good. I played a lot of sports, so I had friends from that group, and overall I had a really good senior year. The other thing that I liked about senior year was that my class came together more than we had. Everybody had their own little groups. But when we were all seniors, we felt like a little bit more connected, and we did more stuff together as a class. And so that was kind of a nice way to end it and feel like you were part of something and part of the school. My favorite teacher in high school, his name was Mr. Bond, which is a great name, Mr. Bond. He taught physics and earth science, and he was also my soccer coach for 3 years. So he was a guy I worked with a lot. And he was 56 years old and had been teaching for almost 30 years. He was at the end of his career. But two things struck me about him. Number one, he loved his job still. And number two, he still enjoyed it and was able to connect with students, and I didn't have too many other teachers like that. But it made me think that it was a career that I could do teaching was a career I could do for a long period of time and like still be fulfilled by it and still like be doing a good job. And so that kind of inspired me to think about that. And also I wanted a career that would allow me to interact more with people, and that kind of made a good combination. Absolutely not. I went to college, I majored in economics. I loved econ. I see it like in everything. It pervades the entire world, politics, whatever is based on an understanding of economics. And so I look forward to studying that, and I was also looking to make money. My parents growing up were pretty low income, and I wanted to prove that I could be successful, whatever that meant, which to me at the time meant something like wear a suit and make a lot of money and drive a nice car. And so those were some of my major goals in college, was to obtain that type of career. And I did. I was recruited before I graduated to work as a loan officer for an organization, and for a while I made a lot of money, and then I switched careers later. To consider what would make you actually happy. I think too many people in the United States, and especially the young people that I teach, are concerned, sort of like I was, with how much money they're going to make, or the things they're going to buy, or how they're going to compare to their peers. And in my opinion, none of those things make you happy long term. It's the reason that people have a midlife crisis. They pursue a career where they're going to make money. About the time they're 35, they're committed to that career. They bought a house, they have a family. It's too late to get out, and they realize that they hate their life and they hate what they're doing. But it's too late. So you work at a job you're miserable at for the next 25 years until you become a truly miserable person. And I think that defines a remarkably large percentage of the American population. So more than anything, to figure out what would make you actually happy, and attempt to pursue that.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident I will be doing public policy all the way through.
I'm pretty certain I'm going to stay with my major.
Probably. I mean, I'll have to check out. I didn't really do a whole lot of reading before I signed up for anything. So I might change it, but I think government is probably where I'll stay.
I would say be prepared. And just the biggest thing is being organized and learn from your mistakes.
Do your homework. Just do it. Even if you don't try your hardest, at least you got it done, so you get some points instead of a 0. That'll help you pass your classes.
Not every decision you make in high school is going to be a good one, but that doesn't mean that you're not a good person overall. So everyone makes mistakes, but you keep trying to be as best as you can be, and it'll all work out.
What I think people need to keep in mind is that you should keep an open mind on decisions in college, and don't be afraid to be flexible. Things can change, and don't be afraid of that change, because in the end, you might love it more than your old decision.
Those are some great ideas, don't you think, Patrick?
Yes, I'm going to look into those ideas, like going to a 2-year college and then transferring to a 4-year college. Coming up next is another senior segment about cars for college with Michael Tokyo Drift Gould and me, Patrick the Supreme. Let's see which cars are good for college.
I'm Michael Gould.
And I'm Patrick Hall.
And today we're going to be talking about cars for college.
And also, we'll be talking about the importance of insurance with a special guest.
So first off, we have a Ford F-150 and a 2013 Kia Sportage. This is an all-white 1996 Ford F-150. Orange paint job. The Kia, on the other hand, features LED headlights and some nice fog lights too, along with a clean grille. Sunroof and moonroofs are standard. The Ford F-150 is a bit more classic. Let's take a look at the F-150 on the road. It starts off smooth and continues smooth, with little bumps that it can handle. Kia on the road is sporty, handles Ithaca heights well, and has awesome handling for those Ithaca turns. I'm Michael Gould.
And I'm Patrick Hall.
And today we're going to be talking about cars for college.
And also, we'll be talking about the importance of insurance with a special guest.
So first off, we have a Ford F-150 and 2013.
Why is buying insurance so important?
Well, in New York State, it is required by law. In case of an accident, you can cover anybody's medical bills or cover car repair and make sure everybody is free of bills that could happen in the future.
Okay. So why is insurance so important? Like, can minors pay for it for parents' consent?
Yes, minors can get it. Typically, though, because teenagers have less experience, it's going to be much more money for a teenager to get their own insurance policy. Just because of the statistics say that teenagers with less experience are more probable to get in an accident. But a lot of parents, what they will do is get their teenager under their policy, which means if anything happens, it's going to actually go on your parents' policy versus your own policy.
Okay. So do I actually need to buy insurance, or can I buy it on Craigslist?
No, you cannot buy insurance on Craigslist. You do need to go through a reputable insurance company because in New York State, again, as I stated before, it is required by law. And if you're driving without insurance, there's going to be some hefty fines and hefty penalties because of that. But again, in all states, you don't necessarily need insurance, but here in New York, you have to have insurance.
Well, you heard it from Mr. Cowell. I'm Patrick, and that's Mr. Cowell. WRED.
Overall, with the Ford F-150, you're going to have a lot of space. You can tow a lot of things. You're going to have a lot of power under the hood. And with the Kia, you're going to have a very sporty car. It's good on gas mileage, and it's very luxurious because it's new. But overall, you won't go wrong with either one.
And the importance of getting insurance is that you can get it at the age of 16. So I want you guys that are 16 to get your insurance now to start driving.
Thank you for joining us today.
Man, I gotta get me one of those whips. Say, Patrick, do you think you can cut me a deal for some insurance?
I'll take at least a month, but I'll look into it just for you.
Hey, last but not least, we have the Kiwi Radio Group with Joseph. Look into what groups that they were a part of and improvements that they're making to their studio.
Let's take this one on air.
On April 17th, WRED went to the Cayuga Radio Group's headquarters near Ithaca to actually be live on the radio with Greg Fry, the news director for WHCU 870. We talked with him about our program, WRED. Each of us contributed, saying a bit about what we've done so far this year.
In my ongoing quest to get revenge on high school students who sleep in and don't ever have anything to do, I've decided to wrestle 4 Ithaca high school students out of bed on their spring break to come into the studio. They're all glaring at me right now, just in case anybody wants to know. They are members of a TV station, WRED, that is down at Ithaca High School, and they are here in studio this morning. We are very happy to have them. And actually, we'll start with the man who's leading them. Steve Cash joins us in the studio. And Steve, tell us a little bit about WRED, and welcome to the studio, number one.
Well, thanks for having us. WRED, it's a student-run television program. Started this year. We're very lucky. We have state-of-the-art equipment that the students get to use and produce segments, produce shows. They work with the superintendent to produce a show for him. So it's, they get hands-on experience, and that's the best part about this program. Mm-hmm. They get to report on the school, community, so it's the best of both worlds.
All right, let's go down the list here. We'll swing the microphone over, and contestant number 1, your name?
Joseph Lunine.
I'm Jamie Nickles.
Okay.
Christian Schubach.
Fantastic. Tell us about a project the kind of thing that you guys are doing, the kind of things that you're working on within the district and that you like to do.
Currently, I am working on a documentary for my senior independent project, and Mr. Cass is my mentor for that project, so he's been helping me learn how to use Adobe Premiere Pro, which is what we use to edit videos for our program, and it's been extremely stressful at some times, but Mr. Cass is probably the best mentor you could ever ask for.
Before this whole thing, I was putting some of my own kind of bad YouTube videos online, and now this class is actually teaching me how to do everything, things I wouldn't have learned otherwise until I reached college. And now it's like, without this class, I probably wouldn't even thought about going into film because I never actually had any experience with it.
Chloe and Joseph, what about you guys?
Well, we've also had to do an inspiration piece, which is kind of like the piece that Jamie was talking about. We had to find something that inspired us to what we want to do, and like I did my restaurant that's not closed, Tech Cuisine.
Okay.
And that just like inspired me to want to do something that isn't restaurant based. So that entire process, like editing, which I never knew how to do before, I know how to do now, which is kind of surprising. I never thought that I'd be able to do anything.
Mm-hmm. I think we've all progressed a lot in these few months that we've been doing this, like since the beginning, doing movie reviews and restaurant reviews and pop culture, and now doing like news pieces on the school and stuff.
Well, thank you so much. We're out of time, but we're going to stay in touch with you guys, and we're going to have you guys back because you guys are doing impressive stuff. Thank you all for coming in this morning.
Greg Fry is the WNYY and WHCU brand manager and news director for the Cayuga Radio Group. He was able to talk with us about the stations that are part of the radio group today.
So we have, as part of the Cayuga Radio Group, we have 9 radio stations that are part of our group. 7 out of the building that we're in right now, and 2 more that are located over on the South Hill. So there's a variety of stations, everything from news and talk, so both sides of the political aisle, progressive and conservative talk. We have country station, light rock, classic rock, run down the whole list for you. 96.7 The Vine is a very cool station that's continuing to grow every single day. We have a new sports station, which is 987 The Buzzer, which is very cool with CBS Sports Radio and some local elements tied in as well. New to our portfolio, Z95, which is a very popular station in our area, and Rewind as well, which is continuing to grow. The whole idea is to do as much as we can for the community while also providing entertainment for the community as well. We serve a lot of different purposes, but one of our biggest things is to make sure that people have something that they want to listen to.
The Cayuga Radio Group continues to grow and is in fact in the process of constructing new buildings to fit new stations in. They offer a wide variety of stations, as Greg Fry mentioned previously. In a television-driven society, they offer a respite for those of us who drive to school or work, or who want to listen to something while doing another activity. For WRED, I've been Joseph Lunine.
I hope they finish the improvements on the studio. I know a couple of people that need to be put in the booth.
I hope they're as good as they say they are. Just like that pasticcio that was made in the Cooking for College segment.
You got it all. Well, folks, we had some great views on Ithaca High School and Christian's report. We also got some great cooking ideas with Cooking for College, and some good ideas for after high school when seniors graduate.
Those were great, but so was the information in the Cars for College report, and learning how to get insurance. Finally, Joseph gave us a great report on how the Cayuga Radio Group is going.
All right, folks, I'm Kid Pat, signing off.
Hey, I'm Brian Okumu. You can see me on the next ICSD for Dr. Brown. Until then, stay tuned, Ithaca.
What's up, guys? I'm Jamison, and how's life?
The Red Eye producers are telling us that we have some guest hosts on today. Ploy, it looks like we got the day off.
Thanks for joining us today, IHS, at this look into H Courtyard. With WRED, I'm Molly Long.
Well, let's see here. Welcome everyone to the Red Eye. I'm Mr. Reif, English teacher at Ithaca High School.
And I'm Mr. Cass, digital technology teacher here at IHS. We'll be handling the duties today.